Let's talk about this next use scenario: management adds an employee account. The page starts off on the employee list page. So this is where the manager is going to go and add a new employee. We don't have very much functionality at this point, so if I look at the product backlog, all I have is information about accounts. So all I need to do is create a scenario in which or create a user interface that encompasses this type of information and whatever would house that type of information. So I'm going to start off on the manager being on their employee list page, and that's why it says the use scenario starts on that. I'm going to go ahead and just press play where we're going to walk through this. Alright, it says that, okay, so we are let's take a look at some of these details here. So there's not much here on this page. It's very simple. Wireframes should be very simple. Looking at this top part here, this navigation bar here, or this future navigation bar, all we have is a separation between kind of this top navigation and our data. And here we have the hotel booking system, and then notice that we're already signed in, so I just have manager here so we kind of know who signed in. Maybe it will have a name here in the future for whatever customers here, or maybe it'll just say account, but in either case all we have here is just the manager name, so we're already signed in, so we don't need anything else here. We are on the employee list page, so it should say, so we just need something indicating, you know, where we are. So hotel employees, and so far I've chosen to have the navigation of where we are at in the system up here in this left hand corner. So right here we're on the hotel employees page. There's no employees entered yet, so all we have is just the titles for where that information is going to be. So if I switch back over here to the use scenarios and we take a look, this scenario starts on employee list page. Manager clicks add new employee. So notice here I have an add button in the right hand corner in order to add a new employee. In the use scenario it says add new employee, but in my wireframe it says add plus. I think you can infer here that we're talking about employees, add employee, because we're on the employee page. So I think that works for that, or the add button works for that functionality. I just need to make sure that they match. So it says add new employee here, and I want it to just say add plus, right? Because that's what it actually says. So we want our wireframes and our use scenarios to match. So after we click add, the manager should see a new employee form. So I'm going to click add, and then we have a new employee form. So let's take a look at some of the details that we're seeing here. First of all, notice that the background here lightened up. And so that's something that I did in XD. If I come over here and I click on the navigation bar, so notice the navigation bar here is dark, okay, and it says appearance 100%, but then I come over here and it says appearance 30%. So I've chosen to, whenever we have some sort of pop-up, to make this background area, and I really should have done it with these two as well, so I'll do that now. So I make these background areas have a lower opacity so that it brings it out of focus, so that the user knows that, hey, this is where we're focusing, okay, is on the form. So, and you can see with all of my form slides, and I didn't do it with the button, so make sure we're doing it, we're consistent, right? We're doing it throughout the entire thing. But make sure that, come on, let's zoom in here. There we go. So that is one thing that I'll have to do once I get done with this video here, is go through and make sure the opacity is set on for the entire background, not just for the top. So it's the little details that cause our functionality to pop. So in this section right here, we are trying to highlight the fact that we are entering in a new employee. So that is why we've made the opacity 30. So I'm going to click back over to my use scenarios. It says manager clicks add, and then manager sees new employee form. So here is that new employee form, and then it's just going to walk through adding those details. So new, the first name, last name, email, username, password. So if I come over here, enters temp password, so we've just entered all this information. Manager chooses position, okay, so it chooses cleaning staff for position. So I'm going to come here and notice it has a drop down menu, so I'm going to click the drop down. Okay, but notice there's a differentiation between the steps here. Okay, there needs to be, anytime that I click something on this side, there needs to be that click written out in the use scenario. So this is where I would come back to my use scenario and I'd say, okay, I've added a click here that I don't see here. Instead it says manager chooses cleaning staff. Well, I didn't actually choose cleaning staff. I clicked the drop down menu. So I want to say that. So it says manager enters temp password, manager chooses cleaning staff. So in between those two steps, I would say manager clicks position drop down menu. And this keyboard I'm using has an O problem. So if you see double O's, that is why. So when they click the drop down, then they see cleaning menu options. And so then we'll say manager sees position options. And then here I could put a cleaning staff, customer service, and maintenance, but I'm not going to, just because it's already spelled out in the wireframe, so I really don't need to list them all out here in the use scenarios as well. So manager chooses cleaning staff. Great. So that is more complete. So hopefully you can see how that makes the use scenarios and the wireframes match up even more. So cleaning staff there. Manager clicks save. And where did it go? And then manager sees newly saved employee details. So there we go. The employee listed underneath the list titles.